Hello everyone, my name is Jack, welcome to SkillCapped. Today we are going to be showing you our must-have attacking strategies to elevate your game. With a gap in major tournaments following the end of the Riot Ignition series, there isn't much to cover in the pro scene. So instead we're going to go over the best attacking strategies we've seen developed in this current meta. From must-have standard executes for split, or finally unlocking the secrets of making Haven enjoyable, cracking open the Pandora's box that is beyond bind, or breaking through the iron walls on Ascent, this guide will have something for you to help you improve and start winning more games. But before we get into that, are you struggling to win gunfights? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered at SkillCapped.com. You'll finally learn how to level up your aim, different techniques to win gunfights, and so much more. We have professional courses on every single agent, map, and mechanic in Valorant. This is backed by the top pros, players, and coaches to make sure you're getting the most up-to-date and accurate info possible. In fact, we're so confident that you'll improve using our system that we offer a rank improvement guarantee. Check it out yourself in the link below. Simply put in what rank you're currently stuck at and find out what rank you're guaranteed by using our system. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your true potential and get the rank you've always wanted at SkillCapped.com, link in the description down below. Now, before we get into our first map, some of these strats have been covered previously in other strat books, but today we'll update those strats for current patch as well as take a much deeper look at what makes these strats viable than we did previously. That being said, let's get over to Haven for our first map today, and let's take a look at the A site and see what's going wrong in an A execute first. Now, I'm sure the following scenario will be familiar to everybody. You're attacking, and the boys decide to call for an A hit. The round starts, and something like this happens. You got guys dry peeking operators, especially after 3 teammates already got clipped by that same long defender. You also have the guys who don't know what walking means and just stormtrooper right through short A like a herd of buffalo. Obviously, this is a bad way to operate. I think there are 3 necessary things to a proper A take on Haven. 1. When the round starts, I think it's very worth using a smoke to cover the long A corridor. This smoke denies the intel early, and by wiggling out the left side into the cubby, it also lets you get into long without having to dry peek or flash peek a defender hard holding there. Number 2. Everybody needs to walk. Look at this map of Haven. There is almost always one, and if you play my solo games in ranked, 3 or more possible defenders in B. Their rotate is insanely fast, and they can hear the clomping from short A very easily. Haven especially benefits from controlling intel, and the thing I see done the worst in a regular game is people controlling their intel. The number 3 thing to make this take work is right now in the 1.9 meta is to bring flash agents. 1 Phoenix or 1 Breach will make life so much easier. Let's jump to our trusty old friend, the overhead view. Let's take a look at all of the spots the defenders could be sitting. As you can see, A site really is problematic to push into. Even with the obligatory smokes for Heaven and a tunnel, you still have a tricky situation to deal with. The box angles are relatively standard affairs and aren't that hard to fight, but both the short and long attackers have to deal with harsh 90-degree ankle checks as they enter the site. The problem with that is how far away from other areas of importance these corners are, so it becomes a gamble. Do you not check these very common corners and risk someone being there to deal with potential threats elsewhere on site? Or do you expose yourself to defenders behind box by jiggle peeking to clear these corners? It's a bad situation and it's alleviated really well by flash support. Phoenix has a bit more trouble flashing both corners, but Breach can do so very easily. From long, Breach can blast a flash through here and hit both corners without accidentally flashing his teammates, which is always a bonus. You combine that flash support with the standard smokes we already mentioned, and you've got a damn good setup for an A-take. It should be 3 short, 2 long, and preferably it's the Breach flashing from long with Omen as backup, as the other 3 attackers in your core do work from short, and you've got a very solid way of blowing up A every time. Taking a look at the other stupidly difficult site to attack on Haven. I don't like Haven, don't know if I've made that apparent enough yet. Let's talk about taking C via garage control. Garage is one of the most important parts of the map. If you can't hold on defense, you're boned. If you can't attack and take control of it, you are also boned. Now, the standards for getting into garage are simple. Smoke the window and either flash in or leave with a boombot from Raze. But I think both leave some things to be desired, namely, the 3 problem corners in garage. sharp left when you walk in the door, behind the box to the right, and holding the connector to see itself. Again, we reach for the trusty breach. Breach just makes entering garage free. Uses aftershock to clear the sharp left angle, then let the death by lumens fly and you're off to the races. But what you do from here can be harder. Taking C isn't really easy at the best of times, but with garage control it makes it a bit more open-ended. From here, let's once again go overhead and assemble our take as well as our potential issues. Now you can go 3 long, 2 garage, or vice versa. I prefer the third player garage as they can kind of lurk behind while the other 2 push out. It's very convenient for that aspect. But regardless, let's assume that your Omen Smoke window into the breach push leaves you with only 1 Omen Smoke to use. What's the most effective spot to enable the push? I think it's best between plat and the box. It protects the long players the best and enables a nice funnel at the logs for both attacking sides. The long players don't have to deal with much here because if someone is behind plat, they have to jump up, which is high risk due to that brief inaccuracy. The only leftover pain spot is checking the back left corner for long players, and the left corner exiting connector from garage for those players. Again, this is where the break glass in case of Haven breach play helps out. Breach just flashes out twice and that corner is dumpstered while the long players enter the site. This is the best setup to enable you to take the C site by far, and once you're there, you got that extra man to hold in garage, and obviously you should, if possible, plant for long and play for diffuse denial, as holding C itself in the post plant is quite hard. Moving on to our next map, we're back at Bind, and let's talk about how stuff has changed in the post-Sage metagame for A. Alright, so we all know how this goes. You push up short, you smoke heaven, you Molotov or somehow deal with U-Haul, you push up, and boom, Sage wall plant. It works, it's clean, it gets the job done.
But Jack, you said this take is garbage!
Yeah, I did, but I meant more so in the post plan and not so much the efficacy of its ability to get the plant down.
But that doesn't matter. You said you hated this take, and Sage is bad now. You also said that. So how are we supposed to attack A if you both hate this style of take and use a bad character as the example?
Bro, I was about to get to that, but you cut me off. Can I finish? Are you cool? Can I finish, please? Alright, cool. Anyways, yes, this take is now much harder because no Sage. So what do we do as average players to circumvent the issues with dealing with A now? Well, I think the big thing that needs to change is our approach to attacking A. Previously, it was fairly standard to have 4 or even 5 players running it down short, because all you really needed to do was get rid of a U-Haul player, deal with someone in the cubby area, and boom, plant and move on. But that's no longer possible, so we need to shift our attackers and hit from both showers and short. We are on a roll with these overhead view shots, but I cannot be stopped. As you can see, and as we've talked about before, A is nightmarish because of just how much you need to clear and deal with as you push out. When we include the 2 standard Omen smokes here, and in Heaven, it's still really hard, especially if you're dealing with counter utility from Raze, Omen, Phoenix, and a lot of others. For me, the hardest part of this is this corner here, which I call cubby, but it probably should be referred to better as a cubby, and this one on short is still short cubby. You're exiting short, and you gotta deal with players in U-Haul, near showers, and maybe your Omen smoked Heaven too deep and someone is poking out there as well. So, just like we said on Haven, dealing with 90-degree corner angles that are so far from the other usual problem angles is a pain. So how do we alleviate this? Well, if you're a big brain killjoy main like me, then you do something like this, but not everyone thinks like that. The easier solution is to exert pressure on these angles that would normally hard hold short via the showers push. Because of how these Omen smokes lay out, you now have a big funnel on the right side of sight which showers pressure can handle. This can and usually does cause this player in A cubby to either move or push up short. Either is ideal for us, but worst case scenario, you can just flash peek it as well. So boom, you smoke Heaven, you smoke sight, you push up showers and short at the same time, you use big brain now swarms or flashbangs, and you take the high percentage fights. Luckily, U-Haul gets easier to deal with because of breach support, just aftershock it and push right on through. This is easily the best way to approach A in the new meta, and I see it far too often that people in ranked approach this take so wrong, and then end up just trying to force B instead, which, oh, Hey, that's a cool segue. So have you been in this situation? Man, my team can't attack A, it's just too hard, but we can't attack B either, it's a literal fortress, how are we supposed to take this when they shut down our 5-man hookah rush by throwing one smoke and a Molotov? I know I have, and to be frank, I think the biggest thing people mess up on any map in competitive is attacking B on bind. For one, people get cold feet so easily. The people who go hookah can't seem to push up, peek towards tube, clear that angle, swing into the corner of hookah and clear elbow, and then jump out while your smokes are down. They just wait for the defense to give them something, meanwhile the defense is out there in halls knitting a damn sweater while Breach holds his ultimate out to Hulk smash your plan into the dirt. The worst thing you can do as a player is just sit in hookah. And so often, I think the problem of people getting stuck in hookah comes from the lack of a confident split take from long B. Boom, here's what you need to take B. Breach, Omen, 3 long, 2 hookah, walk early, clear hookah slow, check your corners, call hookah clear, push up long, smoke halls and elbow, and flash into sight. Cypher traps in hookah? Shoot them. Players spamming through smokes towards hookah? If you just jump out faster, that doesn't matter. With the support of the long B players, they can help cover tube and allow the hookah players out. The key here is speed. B is a nightmarish retake, as we've covered previously, so the less time you give defenders to set up and rotate, the better. You need to burst out onto B fast and be decisive. From the time you get into hookah, the smoke should come down, the flash needing beginning, and players are on site within 5 or 10 seconds max. Shrouded stepping to Ascent. Fuck, that was cringy. Keep it. Keep it. We're keeping it. I want to focus on how much mid is going up and its appeal on attack. Solo players especially need to pay attention here because as a solo player myself, shifting my attacking focus to mid control has made a noticeable difference in my attacking efficacy. The reality is, a lot of what we showcased in previous strat books in terms of direct sight takes are great and especially deadly in coordinated play. But for us solo players, these sights become nightmares. I think the difficulty of attacking as a solo player contributes highly to the negative perception of Ascent as a map. I personally think Ascent is the best map in the game, but that's my own bias. All that being said, I want to show how to best approach attacking on Ascent when you are struggling to take sites directly. Now, it's really simple. We're going to show 2 variations for mid control and 2 side pushes. Let's start by focusing on A splits. The setup here is very standard actually. 1 lurker to watch each of the mains, A and B respectively, as defender aggression is quite common. Then you have 2 players top mid and 1 player B mid. Now, in both of these cases, but I think more so here, the B mid player has a tricky task. Our goal is to only smoke bottom mid so that we can creep catwalk fast. Therefore, the B mid player has to take early contact with rifles or ops peeking from tree room. The thing here to me is having someone like Breached, Flash, or Killjoy and Raze type characters that can use utility to push them off the triangle. Ultimately, you gotta trust your aim and take that peek and clear it. You're instrumental to this play. Once you've established this courtyard control, the 3 mid players can begin the creep up tree using another smoke bottom mid as necessary, but it should be avoided if possible. Now the key here for making this take work is for your A lurker to make an impact from main. This is why I like the heavy flash compositions on Ascent, Breach, Phoenix, and even Reyna, because it makes the attacks a lot more flexible. And here it's key. Because of the common defensive structures, you usually have 1 in the tree or green room area and 1 on the site. So if you can cause a big enough distraction on aim main that the tree player looks there or goes to help the other defender, suddenly tree is a gaping weakness. The sequence from here is rather simple. If your omen has it, smoke the grass corridor and pinch A through tree. Much higher odds than forcing a 3 or 4 man A main take, which is a lot more costly. Now, the power of this 1-3-1 setup is how from this same formation you can simultaneously be ready for B and A executes with no switching of the roles. If we rewind back to the start of this background footage and just make 2 changes, we can go into a B hit. Instead of smoking bottom mid, we instead smoke for catwalk, and from here this is where you again have to be a confident player as that B mid guy. You have to take this quick fight at arch, learn this pre-fire, understand this angle, and peek it first always in this variation. The next angle you need to be checking is Pizza by Market. This is a commonly abused spot, especially by mid-omen players. With those angles clear, your teammates top mid are swinging to take the fight at Market door while you both converge to check the angles towards defender spawn at the back of mid. Now, to turn this into a mid-B split, you smoke just past pizza to allow for the market pinch. Again, this is also where the presence of that main player really matters. The last thing you want to happen in this take is for your teammates to get stuck in mid. It's so bad if this happens. You are reliant on these smokes, preventing defensive pinches, and thus you are on a timer with this take. So just like with the A variant, speed and presence from the main player are key to success. From here, it's really taking your aim duels and securing site control. Some problem angles I see go unchecked are the stairs next to market door entering B site. The double box is going downstairs into site as well. This one is especially deadly as a lot of teams really tunnel in on clearing boathouse. Alright, and with that, we're at split to finish up today. And boy has this map simultaneously gotten better and more annoying after Sage got yeeted in my opinion. I think it's much more volatile, but maybe that's due to things really not having settled down yet. But some overall takeaways here are breach, 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 pick breach. Have you guys gotten the vibe that breach is really good yet, or do we need to keep hammering it home? Pick breach. Now, I think the biggest issues on attack that I've seen are too much cold feet once again. Look, mid is heavily exploitable on split, but I see so many scenarios where you smoke rope, push out into mid, and then just sit there waiting for the defenders to give you something. It's so frustratingly bad, and leads to far too many unneeded meat grinders. The most effective take you can do on split is this. 4 mid, 1 or 2 from sewer side, 1 lurker in B main. Start the round, smoke rope room, flash out with breach, and take control towards stairs. Use resmokes for rope if needed, or that Molotov swarm nade support we've talked about throughout this video to shut down that doorway. Smoke alley or pillar for the B main player, and flash push heaven. Go fast here, hesitation is death. Get 4 bodies through mailroom fast, on that flash, and flood out onto site. You should be focusing down near backside pillar to meet with the main player and should be able to get into sight very often. Now, this isn't to say passive play is bad. Passive play is great in a coordinated system, but to me it's a near death sentence for a team of solos. I strongly urge my solo guys out there who are struggling, watch how players like Tens plays. They are incredibly good players at being that dedicated entry. Entry fragger isn't the most glorious role in the game, and your KD will always hover closer to even than most other players, but being that person who gets the initial pick and destabilizes the defense is invaluable, especially if you yourself are struggling to create impact on offense. Learn to entry. Now, moving over to A side, I think it's very clear what the best way to operate is. 1 mid, 4 A. The thing I see taking advantage of least here is the mid lurk. The rotate through rope room is so common when an A hit comes out that just sitting here outside of sewers can pay huge dividends in terms of intel gotten. But the A take itself is relatively simple. I think personally, screw ramp. Forget about it. It's a honeypot, a ruse, a sham, and going ramp is a facile argument and also woefully esoteric. Here's what you do instead. Smoke heaven and smoke screens. Use Molotov or other utilities for ramp and then run it down main. At most, you are dealing with someone pushing through the heaven smoke and one side player. It's simple trades as long as you know the common spots. Here's how I personally clear A main. I start by holding the elbow angle, then I jiggle peek for under heaven, swing out left to clear the close right angle, and the sign on site. The sign elbow area is the most common angle for someone to be at, but always be wary of people being sneaky on the other side of the planter box just past where you are currently swinging. I've lost many a push due to teammates not clearing this, and it's a costly mistake to do so. Now, the problem with A isn't really the take itself, it's actually very vulnerable in that respect. It's that nightmare post-plant that we've all experienced, and it definitely causes many people heartache. My best advice for holding this post-plant is to have someone lingered near A main and play for contact at heaven, based off the intel from that lurker mid we talked about. A good lurker is going to let one person by usually, so they can attempt the double kill, or even not shoot anyone and just follow them down rope for the extra sneak ability. Irregardless, that player can just relay the timing for this ramp player to have meaningful impact to make that round a sure win. And that's all we have for today, mainly because it's 95 degrees in my office, I am sweating like an absolute pig and I desperately need more water, but regardless of that, what are your favorite strats in competitive? Let us know what you are doing to win in those comments down below. While you're down there, make sure to like and subscribe for more premium guides just like this one, with one goal in mind: helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.